to HR Talks with Lish, a platform aiming to motivate, inspire, and elevate HR interns, students, and professionals, giving you tips and advice to help you flourish in your careers. Join me on this journey to success as a HR professional finding her way within the industry and rising to the top. If you're new here, then welcome to the HR Talks with Lish community. Please can you like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you're always notified every single time I post a video. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Are you a young HR professional who hasn't necessarily had any experience within HR and wants to know how to manage their time effectively within their new position? Or are you somebody who is looking to find some new ideas on how to manage their time effectively within the HR industry? Well, if you're one of these people, then this video is specifically for you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I manage my time as a HR professional, because we have a lot to juggle on a daily basis, and organization and time management is key as a HR professional. And I would say it's one of the most important factors that you should have, because if you don't do something in a specific time frame, it can have a knock-on effect on different tasks that you may have to do within your role. And this can just lead to feeling overwhelmed, feeling like your to-do list is never ending, and just feeling like you cannot get things done. So I'm going to give you 5 different tips that I use on a daily basis to help you to manage your time effectively. So tip number 1, I would say that you should schedule unpleasant tasks and tasks that you just don't really want to do at the start of the day, because it's best to get those out of your way so that you can make room for the tasks that are better and nicer to do. Now, I'm saying this because a lot of the time, if we have unpleasant tasks that we have to do, or tasks that just feel a bit mundane, we can get that mentality of, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I'll do it tomorrow turns into, I'll do it tomorrow. And then when you get to tomorrow again, it turns into, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But actually, is it ever going to get done? And this is why I think that this is a really important tip to kind of understand and do those unpleasant tasks first thing in the morning. Now, personally for me, in the morning, after I've done my morning routine, if I've had my breakfast and I've gone to the gym, I just feel revitalized, I feel refreshed, and I just feel ready to go. So I think after that moment of me just feeling good and ready to go, doing those tasks that aren't the best can ensure that it just gets done, it's out of my way, and I can get on with other things. So that's what I try and do in the mornings. I also think the important tasks, as well as the unpleasant ones that you may not want to do, are essential to try and plan those in the morning as well if you can. Or you don't exactly have to make sure that you get it all done in a time frame in the morning, but you can get started on it, because sometimes when we actually get started on things, then that then makes us want to do it more. So then you just may carry on with it until you're done, or you've got a chunk of it out your way, so then you can maybe schedule to do another chunk of it in the morning, or you can do a bit more of it in the afternoon if you feel like you've got most of it out of the way. So tip number 2, when it comes to handling your inbox, I would say that the best thing to do is create folders to match specific topics, so that you can put those emails that you get that matches a specific topic into those folders. Because one thing that I don't like is an inbox that's cluttered. Now, some people can handle this. Some people will have inboxes where, they've got all their emails just there and they don't move it to other specific places, and they can handle that. But I don't think that that's the best way to handle your inbox. I think it's nice to have a clean inbox and know where things are, because let's say you've got to search for something in your inbox, it's just going to take a long time to do that. So I think putting your emails in categories is a really good way of organizing your inbox. So I'm going to give you an example. So I deal with a lot of onboarders, so new starters and leavers. So what I will do is I'll make a folder for that specific new starter, and anything that comes in that's relevant to that new starter, I'll put into that folder, because then that just makes my life easier. If I need to find something to do with that new starter, it's all there. So tip number 3 is to cluster specific tasks together. So what I mean by that is, if you've got like loads of emails that have come through, for example, like loads of different queries that you need to answer, I think a really good tip that I recommend you doing is schedule out a little bit of time just to answer your emails. Because one thing that and this is a mistake I feel like I've made throughout my journey as a HR administrator and intern is that I always answer emails like when they pop up, basically. And I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. But I don't think that's the best way to handle it. I think what you need to do is, when you've got some time, you schedule out maybe 20 minutes every hour just to go through the emails that you've got. So you can go through and see, okay, can I answer that right now? Let me answer that right now. Can I answer that later on? Is there a task within that email that needs to be done, I don't know, 2 weeks down the line? Can I put that into a folder and do that another day? But having that time to just concentrate on your emails only and just get like your inbox down and kind of try and sort it out, I think is a really like useful thing to do, because checking your emails every single minute constantly is actually counterproductive, I would say, because you could be doing a task. Let's say, for example, you're working on a communication that has to go out to employees across the business, and you're working on that communication, you've blocked out time for that, but you've got an email that's just come through, and you've gone now to that email to check it, and it's kind of taken you out of your momentum and your flow. You might stop doing the task you was actually doing, and you might leave it till tomorrow, let's say, when really and truly you could have got that done in the next half an hour, but you chose to go to your inbox, which is why I think it's important to allocate maybe 20 minutes every hour just to go through emails. Obviously, it will work differently for different people. Also, you might have meetings throughout the day as well. So like, let's say your day's blocked out full of meetings. Obviously, you might not be able to check your emails every 20 minutes across an hour, because you just might not be able to do that. But I'm saying, if you've got days that are freer and you can do that, then do it. Or just think about ways to kind of ensure that you're not always checking your emails like every single time something comes in. Like, it can wait, because I think sometimes we fall into the trap of, oh, I need to get that done right now because they've emailed me right now and that needs to get done. But no, actually, it can be counterproductive to all the other tasks that you need to do and things that you may have to do for other people. So that's what I recommend you doing. So this actually leads me into tip number 4, which is, do not read your email straight away if you don't have to. Obviously, if you see something pop up and it's urgent, then yeah, it makes sense. You need to answer that straight away. But if you see something pop up and you read it and you're like, oh, I can actually leave that till later, then delegate time to do that later. There's actually like a matrix that I've mentioned in another one of my videos before, but I'll pop it up on the screen now. And I actually think that it's really important to follow this matrix, because it will help you to kind of make sure you are putting the right time into the things that are coming in. Sometimes we are not dedicating enough time to something that's really important because we're concentrating on something that's not even that important. So it's really important that you are aware of what category this email or this task that you got sent falls into, so that you're able to get things done across a reasonable time. So I really do think that you should take this into consideration, and don't think that you need to answer email straight away. I'm going to stress this, because I was that person when I first started out in my role. I thought, oh, I got an email, I need to answer it now. Nah, you learn as you go along that there's some emails that you just do not need to answer. Like, sometimes you don't even need to answer an email on that day. You can wait a few days to answer it because it's not as important. But you need to make sure that you are able to identify what's very important and needs to get done, or what needs to get done over a specific period of time, and what can get done later on. So I have a top tip for you. Basically, on Fridays, my calendar is very quiet. Sometimes it can get busy because sometimes people try and book meetings in for me on Fridays, but I try and keep Fridays as clear as possible. What I have actually done is scheduled out time in my calendar to do the creative things that I do within my role. So whether that be creating communications or making videos for the company or so forth, I like to plan time out to do that on a Friday. So I think a top tip could be, if you do have like creative elements within your role, or there's project work that you need to get done, and it's going to take you a while to focus on it, try and schedule out some time on a day where you don't have that many meetings to try and get that done, because it will make a whole load of difference if you do. And just block it out on your calendar so that people can't actually book meetings, because they may see that on a Friday you're very busy, so they're not going to book any meetings. If it's really urgent, someone might book over it, but the majority of people are just not going to book out on that day because you've blocked it out already. So that's a top tip from me, and I do recommend that you do that. Finally, tip number 5. You've probably heard this one all before, but I really do think it's important to make a list of things that you need to do. So honestly, if I don't write everything down, I'm gonna forget it. Like, it's as simple as that. If I don't write everything down, I will forget what someone's told me to do, and then it'll come around and they'll be like, "Oh, Lish, have you done this?" I'm like, I didn't write it down. This is why I stress, and I can only stress this, that you write everything down that is asked of you. So it depends on how you like to work. Personally, for me, if I'm in a meeting and I've been asked to do something, I make sure that I get my OneNote open. It's like a notebook, but just on the computer. So you can open like various tabs and everything. You can write in there, you can just exit out of it and it will automatically save. So there's no need to worrying about saving every single minute, because it will just save there. And then what I do is I make to-do lists over the week. So anything that needs to get done within that week, I'll just write everything down, and then I'll prioritize them. So I'll put high priority, medium priority, low priority, and then based on that, I'll tackle the tasks that need to get tackled straight away within that week. So personally, that's what I do. Like, I don't make a to-do list for every day, because usually there might be a task that I'm doing on, let's say, Monday, that rolls into Tuesday or needs to roll over to Friday. So I just do like weekly to-do lists and just keep on adding to it. But then obviously tackle like high priorities, medium priorities towards the start of the week, and then the low priorities I'll just do towards the end of the week, because it's not needed. You don't need to get that done straight away. So I recommend that you write everything down. If you decide, oh yeah, I'm just gonna remember everything and it's just gonna stay in my head, it's just not gonna work out for you. Like, listen, I've been in that situation, and I'm telling you, it gets hard. You get overwhelmed because you're thinking, oh yeah, I've got it all in my head, it's fine, but you need to write it out. You need to write it out. So guys, that's the video. I've kind of just done a brief overview there on my time management and how I try and manage my time as a HR professional. If you want me to go through any of those points in a bit more detail, then please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you want to hear. If there's a specific part of time management that you want me to kind of go into more depth in, let me know in the comments and I will make sure I do a video on that for you. But I hope that this has helped you in some way and you can take at least one thing from this video. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.